Good evening, Degens. So today I wanted to do a big rant on relationships. It's kind of bothered me lately that a lot of people have been asking me crazy questions about relationships, and oh my gosh, I've heard some crazy things. So I want to get into some reasons why. This is not going to be all of them because we could do a series for the next 100 years to cover all the reasons why people are single and have problems in relationships and suck at relationships. But this is my intro to it of what I've been seeing lately. So let's just get into it because I'm a little upset about this. Okay, the first one. This is going to be the most obvious one to me, but apparently it's not obvious to other people, which is wild, right? So these are the people who they want their ideal person, like this magical person that's like the right look that they want, the right personality that they want, the right education, the right background, the right family, the right values, the right blah, 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 blah. And then these people, they don't have anything like that themselves. They have no values. They come from a bad family. They don't look great. They don't pay attention to what they look like or what they can bring. Nothing. And I'm talking about both sexes here. I'm not trying to pick on any one type. I'm just saying everybody. This seems to be the case. And it's crazy to me when people date someone who's outside of really what they deserve and then the person doesn't treat them well. I mean, why is this something that's shocking to people? It's like so frustrating. Being nice is not enough to have a good relationship, to attract a good person. Being nice is not it. It's not anything. If you're broke, if you're unhealthy, if you're nasty, if you have a bad attitude, if you bring so much baggage, if you're super annoying, if you have health issues, if you have mental problems, if you have 50 million things, but you're like, but I'm a good person. You're not. You're lying to yourself. That's not being a good person. A good person takes care of themselves so that they can take care of other people. You're not a good person just by existing. Just because you haven't, like, I don't know, done some crime against someone doesn't make you a good person. So there's that. Also, the entitlement. The people that feel so entitled to this perfect, wonderful person when they themselves are just nothing but flaws. They don't know how to have a relationship. They've never attracted any decent people, but they expect and they feel entitled to it. So much so that when they have someone that's probably on their level, they'll be mean to them. Mean to them because they're like, I can do better. You're not good enough for me. No, they're probably on your level. That's usually why people get together, because you're on the same level. When there's like a lot of problems, maybe you're a little different level. Maybe somebody's a little too good, somebody's a little bit lower, whatever. But for the most part, like attracts like. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. This is a really good one. They hate the opposite sex, right? It's not like they're going to say, I do not like some of them, or some of them were mean to me. No. It's all of them are this, all of them are that. And if you give any examples, on the contrary, it's like, no. Your one particular example does not mean anything. People will learn from someone who's wealthy. They'll be like, okay, this person has a lot of money. They made it. They beat the odds. I'm going to listen to their advice. But when someone's beat the odds and had a good relationship or has a good relationship, they won't take their advice. They'll only be like, I'm going to take advice from people who are miserable. I'm going to take advice from people who have no relationship to speak of or have some weird toxic situationship. That's wild to me. When you want to learn to do something, you have to ask the people and learn from the people who not only have done it, are doing it, and have done it and are doing it successfully right now. for a considerable amount of time. There are so many dating coaches and people like that that were single forever through their whole dating coach career. That's insane to me. These people don't know what they're talking about. Reading a study and regurgitating it as if you know anything about that is not knowledge. You're not dropping knowledge. As someone who's worked on thousands of studies, especially in psychology and sociology, the stuff where this would be taken from, all these studies, unfortunately, they're led by whoever's funding them, and they're not even testing properly because it's about money. Studies are about money. So if I have an agenda where I'm trying to push more women working, more whatever, I'm going to have more studies like, women do better when they're single, women make more money when they're single, women are happier when they're single, because I want more women in the workforce, right? So I'm trying to manipulate the culture. That's what most studies are. We gotta stop pretending like studies cannot be manipulated or people don't use them for negative reasons. They do. So please stop referring to studies as your end all be all, because I've done all the studies. I was a Confederate in a bunch of lying and cheating studies, which means Confederate in a study is someone who's in on it, right? They're like a researcher and they're trying to get the subject to do something, right? These studies are so hard to replicate, and they are like 100% determined on who was a Confederate that day. I had like 100% success rate making people cheat and lie. I'm not trying to brag that I'm such a great person at manipulating. I'm just saying that like it could have to do with the person's attitude, the person's temperament. Like I would smile or whatever when I'm trying to get someone to do something. And maybe the other person had a bad attitude or wasn't very attractive. Studies are just so impossible to replicate. We have to stop pointing at them as at the end all be all. And if all you have to offer is, I read this study and it says this, therefore you're wrong, you are not supposed to be talking. Please stop talking. That is not good advice to give to people. Stop referring to studies. They are a tool, and a very poor tool at best. Other than that, I don't want to hear about it. Okay, moving on. Incompatible values. If your core beliefs are different, why are you even bothering to date the person? You can't change people. People change themselves when it's a problem for them. So if it's not a problem for them, or they feel like you should change, not them, they're not going to change. If your value, if one of your core values is I want a strong, happy family that never breaks up and there's no divorce or whatever, why are you marrying women or men that believe if it just doesn't work out, I'll just get a divorce? It's fine. Why would you marry them? Why would you not ask them these questions if that's a core value? You marry these people, you get into relationships with these people, you get into situationships with these people. And then when the hard times come, and they always do, you are shocked. You're the victim. You're the victim of not asking. What are your values? Do you believe in this? What happens if we have a problem? Are you going to run away? Are you just going to be like, I'm just going to go to the next one and start all over again? No, ask them before you get into this. People need to have the conversations up front. The other one is financial stuff. If you're a guy and you're broke, you need to get your money right first, right? The other one is, it has to do with financial stuff. And this is the guys mostly. We'll get to the girls after. The guys will say things like, but I'm a hard worker. I work 15, 20, 40 hours a day, whatever number, right? It's always like this crazy number. I work blah, 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 blah hours a day. Therefore, I deserve blah, blah, blah. Working a lot of hours, working very hard physically and mentally and for over a long period of time does not mean you are financially stable. You can be running in circles all day and getting nowhere, right? Just making your bills at the end of the month with nothing left over is not financial success. It's not enough to bring a family, bring children into this world. And that's a hard pill to swallow because you're exhausted, right? You're running, you're doing all these things. You're like, why isn't it enough? Why isn't it enough? It's not enough. It will be enough, but you might have to change what you're doing all day. If you're doing something over and over and you're not getting anywhere, you need to do something else. You need to realize it's not enough. And you need to stop with that downward spiral thinking of I can't because of this and this. If you lost that job that's just going nowhere, you would have to think about that stuff. Just pretend you lost your job. Just quit. Just force yourself to do something else. Go move back home. Go move with a family member. Go get a roommate so you can go part-time. Do what you need to do. Get 6 roommates. I don't care. So you can do another career that's going to give you more financial stability, more income. The economy is really bad. Most people won't make it. Most people will not make enough to have a family. So only the strong survive, the ones who change course. So you have to do that, and you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Times are always tough in different ways. The next is okay. Oh, I didn't say the women part for the financial concerns. Okay, let's do that. Let's make it fair, right? The women think because they have the money, that they make money now, that they're somehow worth more. You're not. The only thing that matters is youth, signs, markers of fertility. That's what guys are looking for. And that's biological. You can't say, but I make money. The types of guys that care that you make money are not the good guys. And I don't want to say that to like make people feel offended. But if a guy cares so much about what you do and how much you make, it's because he is low confidence in his ability to provide. This is going to hurt feelings. That's what we're here to do today. We're here to hurt everybody's feelings, because when you get your feelings hurt, you're going to get mad, and then you're going to realize you got to make some changes. That's it. So just because you have money as a woman does not make you have any more value, especially since women always go, my money is my money, his money is my money. And the ones who go, no, it's not, I'm going to contribute and whatever. The second you have kids and you realize how detrimental it is to work while you have children, or your body gets destroyed and you realize the cost of that, maintaining that, you have to go to the gym now you need 50 million supplements because, the food, the water, the female care products, everything is poisoning us. And then we usually get like a lot of the health symptoms and the autoimmune conditions right after we have kids, which can make it harder to work, right? Women need to think about this prior. Do not go into a relationship as a woman thinking that you will help provide and have kids and whatever. You can't do both. You can, but it's going to be so hard and so difficult. There's very few jobs that do not stress you out over 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever. Okay, the next one is communication problems. If your parents didn't know how to communicate, so you saw dysfunction growing up, people would be rude and hostile and shut each other down, you need to do work on yourself to know how to communicate. And I know it's really hard to learn these skills. I don't know what you got to do, but you got to watch a lot of entertainment that shows you how to do these skills. You want to go back. You want to start watching, like, I don't know, old movies where people were in happy relationships and how they communicated with each other. There was no yelling, screaming, throwing things, fighting, talking down to people, insulting each other. That stuff does not happen in successful relationships. One thing that people always tell me when, like, that they're shocked by about me is, like, I'll say, like, we don't really fight. Like, we have a fight maybe once every 10 years, and then maybe a fight, right? Like a disagreement or whatever, or something happened and we fight about it and then we make up and then it doesn't happen again. But people think that that's a lie. Just like they think that it's a lie that I don't drink. I don't drink. I'm sorry. Just because you do something all the time doesn't mean everybody does it. That's, if you want to go back to studies, that's a study that says when you do something, you assume that everyone does it. Just because you think it's normal, just because you can't control yourself, just because you can't stop, just because everyone you know in your circle has this problem, people think everybody has that problem. It's not true. There are plenty of people that know how to communicate. There are plenty of people who don't have these issues come up. So stop selling yourself short. Stop giving yourself these negative excuses that you can latch on to. Anyways, so communication is a huge one. Oh, there was this one TikTok that I saw. It was a therapist. She was talking with a couple. So the woman was complaining that the man had two sons from a previous relationship, and she was complaining about how that they're very lazy, they don't do anything, they don't help with the house, blah 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 blah. And how she approached this is communication, how she approached her husband was, your sons are lazy and this and that, and you don't control them, and you don't get them to help around the house, and you allow them to do this and this. And she's just laying into this guy, and he's like shut down, completely mentally shut down. He's looking down. He is just like wants to like rage, wants to run away, wants to completely shut down because she's going at him, because it's probably what she heard when she was a little kid, right? This is how the communication she saw around her, just people attack each other and blame each other and like destroy each other. And they think that's communication. It's not. So then the therapist, who was a woman, an older woman, sat this wife down and said, let me show you how you're supposed to talk to your husband. And then she goes to him and she's like, baby, I love you so much, but I need to talk to you about your boys. I've been noticing that they've been sleeping in, not helping out in the house, not doing this, and they're not doing as well in school. And I really think that you need to talk to them because I know what kind of man you are, and I want them to be that type of man. And I just think you need to, talk to them about how they need to be a man like you are. You see how that sounds different? Do you see how that's like a world of difference? When this wife heard the therapist say it the nice way, the calm way, the non-attacking, the non-brutal, you're a piece of crap way, this woman starts crying because she realized for the first time she's the problem, that she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She doesn't know how to communicate. And she's putting all the blame on him because she doesn't know how to communicate. I had like a friend of a friend, right? Like an older man who was friends with us in the family, whatever. And his first wife unfortunately passed away. He got a second wife. And he was telling us about how, the first wife, she always wanted me to clean in the house. She always wanted me to dress a certain way. She always wanted me to do all this and this, but her communication style was just nagging and yelling and screaming and complaining and making him feel less than. So he didn't want to do it. He would shut down. When you attack someone, they're going to shut down. So his second wife comes along and she gets him to do all of these things, to help around the house, to dress differently, to like be more romantic, to get her whatever. But she did it with a different communication style. It was night and day. She would go to him, oh, I love it when you dress like this. It's so hot. And she'd be like, I bought you something and whatever, try it on for me. Oh, baby, I want to take you out. She would do that. You see how cute that is? And instead of going, you dress like crap, you're an embarrassment, I need you to dress better, blah, 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 blah. She did it the nice and sweet way. And if she needed help around the house, she'd be like, honey, my like arm hurts from like, doing this and this. Can you help me with this? And, oh, you're so strong. Oh, thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. The end result, the same. I need someone to help me with this. I'm tired, whatever. But how you approach, how you communicate is everything to people. Anyways, the other one is the family issue. Families disapproving of each other. Don't date people whose families don't like you. I mean, they're not the only person in the world. I mean, come on. There's so many people in this world, and you guys get stuck on people whose families hate you or who your family hates them or whatever. Like, why? Also, you have to understand, unless you know your family is trash, and I wouldn't say you know their family is trash because they can make you be biased towards them. And you don't want that. You don't want some toxic situation. So you want to ask them, like, or just be like, do you get along with their family? Because you're not just marrying them, you're marrying their family. Their family is going to be hanging out with your kids one day. So you need to make sure that that's on the up and up. And I'll just say it, like, I have broken up with really sweet guys because I found out stuff about their family. And I was like, I don't want that in my family. Like, there's this one guy who told me that his stepdad, diddled with his sisters or something like that. And I'm just like, this is a sweet guy. No offense to him. But what if I have like a daughter one day and, she wants to go to grandma and grandpa's house? No, that is not happening. You need to be very careful when you're picking people. You are marrying a family. We need to go back to the old times when people understood you marry the person's family. You don't go, I'm going to start my own family away from everyone, because it's really hard to have kids and everything if you don't have support systems. Childcare is expensive. If you have grandparents that you can trust to help take care of your kids when you need to go on a date, when you need to do something, that's a better situation. So like, I had another ex-boyfriend that his mom hated me because I didn't speak Spanish. And she was like, oh, you're trash because you don't speak Spanish. And I was like, what? This person was crazy. But, oh, he's so cute. Let me disregard that, blah, 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 blah. Eventually I realized, you know what? This is always going to be a problem. What am I doing? We broke up. When we broke up, this crazy, insane woman cut up all the, like my head from every single picture that, because, he had, what's it called? Photo albums with us on trips and stuff like that. She cut out my head from every single book, put it in an envelope and mailed it to me. Right? That's how crazy. Imagine if I had married into that family. What kind of life I would have. Imagine that is my mother-in-law. Forever you're going to have problems. Forever. It's a lot. And I know, like, sometimes the people who are attached to the crazy families are so cute. They're so cute. But think about it. Think about your kids. It's not about you all the time. It's not about like how hot they are. You have to just, I don't know, plan for the kids. Now, my mother-in-law, not only did she help me get married, help out with the wedding, all that stuff, and she supported when I wanted to be a photographer. She bought me some equipment. I mean, how kind and sweet is that? I could not imagine this guy's mom doing anything kind. Why would I marry into that family? Why? Right? Also, look at how their parents get along. I mean, this one guy with the bad mom, she hated her husband. What was I even thinking? I mean, I was a kid dating, you don't be young and date. I don't know how to stop that, but absolutely crazy people. Anyways, then we have personal baggage. And this is stuff that you bring. This is your personal messed up stuff. And you need to deal with that before you get into relationships. People go, if I meet the right person, I won't have all these little baggages to bring with me. I mean, okay, look, everyone wants to say, I don't know the whole thing about your situation, so I can't say. But in the same time, with billions of people in the world, why would you pick the one person who has all the red flags? And I know you're like, but my situation is different. I'm a flower unlike any other. I have this unique thing. Maybe, but there's people who don't have that. There's people who don't have anything. And if you don't have kids, and you see any of these issues, don't pursue it. It's better to not pursue it. And sometimes the nicest people end up just like their family eventually once they settle into a marriage. What is the rhyme, please? Okay. Anyways, so then we have timing issues. A lot of people, this is the women's problem, right? This is more the women. The women start dating people who they don't have their career right. They don't have their stuff worked out. They don't know where they want to be, where they want to settle. And then the women are like, I need to get married right now. Therefore, you have to marry me right now, right now. Timing issues matter. Do not date to marry someone who is not in a situation where they're ready to do that right now. You're wasting your time. Okay, the next one is incompatible lifestyles. There was a meme that I saw online that was adorable. It was basically saying, dating apps should have like a photo of like the last 10 books a person's read, the last 10 podcasts that they've listened to, their thermostat during the day, their thermostat at night, and what they do on the weekends, right? Lifestyle stuff, just the very simple lifestyle stuff. Imagine you run hot and the person runs cold, but it's like such a crazy difference, and you're constantly fighting, and like these things matter too. Also, if you are a fitness person and you just get with someone who's naturally thin, as someone who was formerly naturally thin, I can say this, naturally thin goes away. Right after you have kids, after you go through menopause, naturally thing goes away. But if a healthy body, healthy mind, healthy lifestyle is important to you, you need someone who engages in that, not just looks like they do. Like, I didn't have to do a lot of stuff and I look like I did, but am I the type of person who is going on a hike every weekend? No. Am I doing all these? No. So you need to find out the lifestyle stuff. What do you mean I have no sound? Can you guys hear me? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just assuming somebody heard me because people are like, seem to know what I'm saying. So I don't know. Okay. Other than lifestyle, we have cultural, religious differences. Thank y'all. Cultural and religious stuff is just like, you have to think about that first. And there's a lot of people who like to date and marry outside of their culture. No problem. So, like for me, I like outside of my culture, but I have to also know what the other culture is. My husband likes to date outside of his culture, but he knows what the other culture is. So that's fine. But when you go in not knowing it just because they're hot, which a lot of people do that, and then you have all these problems like, oh, but the kids have to be raised this religion, or the kids have to be raised that religion, and then you start fighting afterwards. Do that before. Try to do that before. I know people are really hot and you get all worked up. And let's see. The other one is health issues. This is hard because a lot of things you can't really control, but you need to decide if you want to deal with someone who has health issues before. Like I have chronic migraines, right? So I'm not going to be able to have a full-time job like somebody else. So my husband has to do stuff. Like I was getting at one point like 10, 20 migraine days a month, right? And my husband was like, well, I can deal with that. I can help you during that time, whatever. Fine. Now I'm down to like one a month. So we're good. Maybe 1, 2. So we're good. I dealt with that. Also, he helped me a lot deal with my health stuff going in. But we talked about it. We talked about how this would affect our lives before we went in. Because the worst thing you can do is take on a responsibility when someone has a health issue and then resent them for it or then attack them for it. Oh, you can never do this. You always have this issue come up. You don't want that type of situation. So you need to be really honest upfront with people and say, look, if you got something, you got to say it right then and there and say, this is how it's going to be. Can you deal with that? And let them have an out. Let them walk away if they need to. Don't force people to stay with you when you have some sort of health issue going on and it's going to affect their lives like greatly. Like imagine that. Like at one point it was 20 days a month where I needed help. I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't get out of bed. I'm nauseous. I'm throwing up. I had to you have to say these things. I have this. This is how it is. Now things are better, but if they weren't, he knew going in. The next is career ambitions, career goals that can get in the way with commitment. So like this is more like, let's say the boss babe type women. They have these crazy career goals. I want to make partner in the law firm. I want to do this. I want to whatever. If you have all those career goals, how is that going to affect the family? Who's going to take care of the kids? What age are you going to be when you can have kids? How's it going to be like when you have to pare down that for family? Are you even going to? Are you even open to doing that? Are you open? There are some women who think that taking a lighter schedule or stepping back from their career for a few years while they're raising kids is the worst thing that has ever happened to them, and like traumatizing to them. You need to know that first. If you want to have kids with someone, you need to say, like, are you family oriented or are you career oriented? These are different people. And there's nothing wrong with the guy being career oriented and the woman being family oriented. The woman is staying home and taking care of the kids. And you know what? Look, I don't agree with this, but if the man is family oriented and wants to stay home and take a step back on his career, I don't think that can work long term. I've only seen that blow up in your face. If you want to try that and at least somebody's willing to take care of the kids, then fine. I don't recommend that. Some people have tried it. I've never seen it work out, but good luck. The other one is unresolved conflicts in the relationship. So let's say you keep having the same fight, and every couple you talk to, you'll notice it's always the same fight. The same thing keeps happening over and over and again. And usually, if they're married for a long time and they're generally happy, it's a stupid little thing. And you're like, why are you fighting about that? Like, why is this? Because that's the worst thing that's ever happened in their relationship. And the worst thing that's ever happened is still the worst thing that's ever happened, even if to the outside it looks silly and trivial and stupid. Right? So the worst thing in my relationship is I don't like when my husband drinks because I don't drink. I find people who drink, ugh, it's an unattractive thing. But is he like drinking and going to bars and wasting a lot of money and doing? No, he's sitting on the couch drinking and playing video games. I mean, on the weekend. It's not that big a deal. I think it's a big deal because it's like the worst thing in our relationship, which is pretty damn good. So you might hear that and be like, that's your problem? That's silly. That's stupid. But it's still the worst thing to me, right? Where you have some other people like, oh, he cheated on me, or like something really big, or, he said this horrible thing, or he treated me like this. Like, those are different things. So your unresolved conflicts, they need to not be big. They need to not be deal breakers. They're little disagreements or stupid little lifestyle things. He likes to go jogging every morning. I don't wake up that early. Blah, blah, blah. And I fight about that. Something stupid, right? Think of something stupid. If it's like that, it's fine. If it's something big, they cheat, they lie, they steal, they go to jail all the time. I don't know. Something crazy. That's a big one. So look at your unresolved conflicts and say, is this something that I can deal with for the rest of my life? Because it's probably going to be like that. The next is unmet expectations. This is crazy because unmet expectations are like, you put it on yourself, right? So it's like, I expect to have this and this and this by this age. A lot of women do this. This type, like the type A personality woman. It's like, I am 28 years old. I need 4 children, a 6-story house, a whatever farm in Italy. I don't know, a winery, whatever crazy ideas that they have. And then they get mad and then they start fights when they see like it's not manifesting or whatever. Know what people expect in life before you get married to them. These are probably the same girls that are like, I expect you to spend $100,000 on the engagement ring and take me to Italy every year, like crazy stuff like that. Go through it first. If you are, people get mad when I say this one too. I know girls that have like maybe $200,000 engagement rings and they go to Italy 4 times a year, stay in castles, do all this stuff. Their husbands make millions of dollars a year. It's no sweat off their back. It's not. And I remember like I had this one friend, the professional ballet, whatever place performed at her wedding. These people have money. I have friends with money, like crazy money. and they're super sweet, super kind people. I'm sorry to disappoint you. There's really good people who have a lot of money out there, and they're very nice and kind and beautiful. And yeah, they have different expectations. They live in a different tax bracket. They live in a different world. You can't judge what you do with what they do. People get mad at me for like, I don't know, I got like a $2,000 coffee machine or something stupid like that. People are like, well, Kat, some people don't have that. It depends on your reality, how much you make. Back when I was making, I don't know, 34,000 a year, I wouldn't have that. Now that we're making more, I can have that. And it's the same, no sweat, as if I went to McDonald's when I was making $34,000 a year. Everything is relative to what you make. Stop hating people for making more. I still don't know how to use a French press. I always get the grounds in it. Whatever. I'm very happy with my espresso machine. Thank y'all. Anyways, the next one is, these are the emotional type reasons that people struggle to commit in relationships. So you're supposed to know these. You're supposed to recognize them before you even bother wasting 5, 6, 7, 10 years with somebody. They are fear of being vulnerable, past emotional traumas, attachment issues. Everybody's got a little bit of attachment issues, especially if you went to preschool, daycare. I had no idea that preschool and daycare cause so many attachment issues. And that's why all these people are so messed up now, because when you separate the mother from the child before age 7, which I think we all have been as a culture, it causes you to either have like one-way attachment issues or the other way attachment issues. So it's like really weird. That's why we all have a fear of abandonment, or we'll like try to like avoidant attachment style, where you don't want to get close. When you feel yourself getting close, you'll like start a fight, or you'll push them away. We all have attachment issues because of that. But it's important to recognize it and not bring that into your relationship. So you have to deal with that before. Also, difficulty trusting people. If you don't trust people, if you say things like all men do this, all women do that, all this do that, people are evil, people are whatever you want to say, but it's something negative, something evil, you're never gonna attract anything else. I was literally cheated on a million times, but I'm just like, the one for me is not gonna do it. The one for me is not gonna do this. The one for me is not gonna do that. I believed that they existed. Otherwise, I would have never found them. If you don't believe something exists, you can't get it. There's nobody who became very successful that believed that they couldn't become successful. And even if it's 1%, which, 1% of people, what is it? Like 1 out of every 10 restaurants succeed. Be the one that succeeds. And in order to do that, you got to keep trying. You got to believe you can. Actually, I have a friend that he's like that statistic. He opened 10 restaurants. He was trying to do Michelin star restaurants. And on like the 11th time, it was successful. And it was so wildly successful that all the debt and every struggle that he did for the last 10 was all worth it. I don't know what happened to him, but he was very happy last time I knew him. Let's see. Oh, now we're going to talk about reasons why people who are generally happy and should not be getting divorced are getting divorced. These are crazy reasons. Number one is, sorry, they want the other person to make them feel XYZ, whatever. They want the other person to make them feel happy, sexually wanted, in the mood, important, thrill, excitement, whatever, some feeling. It's like, they don't make me feel this feeling anymore. Therefore, I'm leaving the relationship to find it elsewhere because the feeling is gone. They don't beat, they don't cheat, they don't, I don't know, any of the negative things. They don't talk down to you. They're not mean. They're kind. They're a good parent if you have kids. They're decent spouse. You always know where they are at night, whatever. If you expect someone to make you feel something all the time, You do not know what a relationship is, because a relationship is supposed to be two whole people that come together to make another whole person. Not like, oh, I don't, I'm broken in this way, so you need to make up for my problems. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. If you're not happy, it's a chemical thing with you. It's how you're viewing the world. If we can make people happy by changing the chemical makeup in their bodies, then how can you blame somebody else for you not being happy? How much omega-3s are you eating? How much sunlight are you getting? Are you going on walks? Are you healthy? Are you doing the things you need to do so that you can make your body produce the right chemicals to be happy? Or are you doing a lot of stuff that makes you sadder, like chronic drinking, marijuana use? All these things, they make you feel okay, and then they make you feel really low when you're not on them. Are you doing that? These increase feelings of unhappiness. Do not try to put a Band-Aid with substances to make you feel good, thinking that it's going to, help. It's not. It's going to eventually make your baselines lower and lower and lower and lower. Okay, this one is really going to piss people off. But I mean, there's a lot of narcissist topics, YouTube channels out there, experts on narcissism. Nobody wants to say this one thing about narcissists and narcissistic relationships because it would lose our audience, right? But I don't care. I'm going to tell you. For all those people who go, she was a narcissist, he was a narcissist, they were a narcissist, blah, 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 blah. Narcissists always think the other person is the narcissist. And what really happens is like finds like. So the victim finds the perpetrator. The covert victim narcissist attracts the overt narcissist. Overt narcissist is the grandiose narcissist, the one who is like, look at me, I'm so wonderful, blah, 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 attracts the poor me, I'm such a victim narcissist, right? These people love each other. Peanut butter and jelly, they like attract like crazy. That's why the people who complain about narcissistic relationships for years, months, whatever after, they're always the victim covert narcissist. That makes people mad. No, you don't understand. He was terrible. Okay. Here's another fun fact about narcissists. A narcissist cannot last long with someone who is mentally and emotionally healthy, period. If you are mentally and emotionally healthy and a narcissist comes into your life, you will just roll your eyes at them and walk away, right? You'll just be like, ugh, whatever. And you won't engage with them because you're mentally healthy. A mentally, emotionally healthy, not victim mentality person cannot engage with a narcissist. They just walk away from them. Whenever a narcissist comes into my life, I'm just like, whatever, bro, whatever you think. I don't even engage with them. I don't get an emotional reaction to them. They can't touch me, which makes them wildly angry. That's what it is. Why are you engaging with toxicity? Because you're a little toxic yourself. You need to deal with that first, and that's okay. We all have stuff to work on, but let's not blame outside for things that are inside. You attract what you deserve. And if you haven't worked on yourself, you're not going to deserve this wonderful person yet. And victims are not wonderful people. Victims are not wonderful people. Stop pretending you can be a victim and a wonderful person. Even if bad things have happened to you, that doesn't make you a victim until you identify as being a victim, right? So lots of bad things have happened to me. I don't identify with them. I don't bring them up in conversation. These things are like the past. Oh, that was not great. But I move on and I don't think about it. When you're constantly like, this person did this to me, or this happened to me when I was a kid, and that's why I'm blah, 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 blah. That's making that your personality. That's making it who you are. Nobody wants that. Oh, this is another thing. Have a little like self-worth, right? Are you attracted to people who come up into your life and tell you all of their problems? Oh, you'll never believe what happened to me. So-and-so hurt me like this. They did this to me, this horrible thing. We've all had people do horrible things to us. But notice how we're not all like verbally vomiting it up on everybody that we meet. We don't do that. I could tell you, oh, I was cheated on this time, or this person lied to me, or this person did this to me, or oh my gosh, can you believe someone said this? I have a million stories, but you know what? They're not in my like ready to go because I've moved on. I don't care. I understand that life isn't perfect and you're going to run into bad people. That doesn't mean you keep looking back at them. Keep moving forward. Forget about them. They don't matter. It doesn't matter. Just because you ran into a few negative, nasty people that did some bad things. That's not worth dealing with. Okay. So let's all decide to stop being victims. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to stop talking about your exes right here, right now. I'm going to teach you right here, right now, how to talk about your exes so that you stop being a victim, right? Let's say your ex cheated on you with your best friend and then you slept with your dad and then had 5 kids with your uncle, right? Fine. Oh my gosh, what a terrible person. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that happened to you. We're moving on. When someone says, oh, tell me about your ex, why didn't it work with him? Oh, we just had a difference of opinion. Things didn't work out. You know how things goes. I wish them the best, right? Get to the place mentally, physically, where you can say that and really mean it. Because if you want to talk about who's a good person, who's not a good person can wish the worst, horrible person the best and mean it, right? Do you hear what I'm saying? If you cannot wish the person who hurt you the most the best and literally mean it in your heart, in your soul, that when you say it earnestly where everyone can pick up that energy and be like, wow, you really mean it. If you can't do that, you're not ready to be with anybody because you're toxic. I'm going to say that again. You're toxic. I don't care what they did to you. I have had people do terrible things to me, say terrible things to me, awful things to me. I still wish them the best earnestly. I do not want bad things to happen to them. That is how you are a good person. That's how you know you're a good person. When you reach that point where you really, honestly, in your heart of hearts, say, you know what, God, I wish them the best. Please heal them because they've done some bad things. So I think they need healing, right? If you can say that, you're not a victim, right? You wish them the best. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. There was someone in my life, like my stepfather, I'll just say it, whatever. Who cares? What is he going to do? Anyways, and he was so mean. He said horrible things to me growing up, constantly like making fun of me. You deserve this because you're this, just like your dad or whatever, like just nasty, nasty people, right? I did not say, oh, I'm such a victim. Poor me. Oh my God, my life sucks. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't do any of that. I sat there and I thought about his life when he was a little kid and everything he went through, right? 12 years old, having to leave his family to go to another country, to start all over by himself, his brother trying to take his inheritance, all the horrible things that happened to him, right? And I thought about that. I'm like, this is just a little boy who's gone through a lot of trauma himself. And he comes here and he probably feels guilty for stealing his best friend's wife. And the best friend's wife daughter happens to look just like the best friend. So every time he looked at me, he was probably getting flashbacks of like, oh, I did a bad thing. And the only way to justify it in his mind would be like attacking me or putting me down, or you're just like your dad because your dad's so bad. Therefore, I'm not bad for what I did, right? That's the twist in his mind, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. But either way, when you look at things that way, you go, oh, okay, that's why. I understand it's not an excuse, but you know what? I forgive you and I hope you heal and I hope you're all better. And now that person cannot hurt you. They cannot affect you when they say something bad to you. Just go, oh, so sorry that you're dealing with this, or that you feel the need to say that. You see how different that is than being a victim? 100 times different. I once actually dated a real life narcissist, but because I wasn't such a victim, I didn't notice that they were a narcissist. And it like just didn't work out really quickly. And then they moved on. And then I realized after the fact, oh, that was a narcissist. But they really couldn't stick around with me because I just didn't play with their little dramatic games. I'm not into that stuff. So remember that when you're dealing with people and they're trying to bring you in drama. Drama is not healthy. Drama is not the goal. You do not want these high emotions, ups and downs in a relationship. Relationships are supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to be like a strong friendship. They're supposed to be like coming home, like crawling into bed and going to sleep. They even say that yes, I'm so toxic. You're right. You got me. Anyways, relationships are supposed to be like when you go into bed, you feel sleepy and you just drift off because you're safe, right? You're not checking their phone. You're not checking where they're going. What's going on? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then you fight and then you have makeup sex and you fight and you have makeup sex. Like that's not a good relationship. It's supposed to just be always even keel. And if you want to feel turned on, you turn yourself on and then you jump on them. You don't need them to be something. If you want something, just be that thing and go get it. Go get them, tiger. There was this YouTuber that I was following, and she did that whole, oh, well, I'm not sexually attracted to my husband anymore, even though we have kids and a family and decades together or whatever. I'm going to leave him because I want to feel that spark, that magic with someone else, blah, 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 blah. The dude looks like he's dying now. His jawline is disappeared. His skin is hanging. He looks like cancer face where it starts sinking in and drooping and the person is dying inside. He's starting to look like that. It's so sad to see from the outside. And then she has this idea that she's going to find this wonderful guy who's going to give her these roller coaster rides and sexual experiences. You can do that in a relationship with your partner. There is no need to find somebody else who is going to use you and abuse you and throw you on the streets. It's insane. Which leads me to my last and final point. Please do not date someone and marry someone just because the boinking is good, okay? Just because it feels good to boink them does not mean this is a good relationship. Just because all you can do is think about boinking them all day and all night does not mean you should be in a relationship with this person, right? That's why you should not boink anyone until marriage, in my opinion, and I'm sticking by it. And I don't care, even if you've been boinking your way through life and you're 45, 50, stop boinking now until you know all of these things about them, all of the stuff we went over, all of that. And if everything checks out and you know you want to marry them and then boink them. That's it. Oh, but I don't know if we're going to be compatible. You learn and you grow. The person who is hypersexual is the person who has the most trauma. And I'm saying that for the boys and for the girls. I know people who are male and female who are not hypersexualized because they came from a very good family, right? And they have strong morals, right? Just because something is common does not make it normal. Just because everybody's looking at corn on the computer and looking at Insta thoughts on Instagram does not mean it's normal. It's not normal. You're being hypersexualized, usually from trauma, from divorce, from there's a whole bunch of things that can cause the child in that family, in that situation, to become hypersexualized. Abuse, that can cause it too. So almost everybody has come from divorce, right? Or been diddled or something has happened and that causes hypersexualization. We need to deal with that, right? Before you get into a relationship. Because if you allow that to control your decisions, you will never be happy. Because the people who fulfill that need are the other broken people. So let's stop normalizing brokenness in society and start pushing forward. You can turn the most inexperienced person into your dream boat. You can learn together, right? and stop looking at degenerate stuff and trying to recreate it in your life. Normal people don't do that. It's weird. And yeah. All right. If anybody has any questions, you can let me know. And if not, we can end here because, yeah, it's going to be, I have 5 more minutes. If anyone has anything that they want to ask. What are you talking about? Whatever shall I do? Okay, let's see. I haven't been able to look at anybody's stuff. So let's see. Do parkour, not random people. Okay. All right. Sure. Let's see. Stop. Okay. The amount of things you can do with 100K, spending that much on a ring seems wasteful. Even if I made Elon level money, I wouldn't spend 100K on a ring. You would if you made Elon level money, and I'll tell you why, because it would be no different than if you put $10 on the ground and just threw it or whatever, because that's the equivalent. So you got to stop thinking in your income bracket when you think of people who have way more, a million times more. You are not like them. And remember, it's supposed to be a hit. The ring is supposed to be a hit, because in the old time it was like, this was like the dowry. So like if the husband died, if something happened, the woman could sell that ring and her kids wouldn't starve, right? That was the purpose of it back in the day. We used to actually give money in some cultures, whatever. But yeah, that's what it's for. It's so that she could sell it and take care of herself and her kids if the guy dies. So if it's 100,000 and you married someone who's like a bajillionaire, you're gonna have to like sell everything. Good luck. Anyways, so anything else? What do you mean no degen activities? Okay, so we're not talking about Elon Musk, guys. We have to stop focusing on the super hyper wealthy people when we're giving advice to each other, because most of us are not ever going to be able to have rocket money. Okay. So down to reality. Let's say like 200,000. That's the new goal, right? You want a family in a city, you need 200,000. You want a family outside of the city in a rural area, you could be way less. But know what you want and where you need to be to get it. All right, so I guess that is all for today, unless anybody has anything else they want to say, or if anyone wants to come jump up on here and say, hey. Okay, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Look, I'm going to tell you something from somebody that I follow online, what they said, and it was such facts, right? You can go to a shelter, right? And find like the most rankiest, dankiest cat or dog or whatever you're into, right? And dust it off, take it home, and you will love that critter like no other, right? You will love that critter. So think about that. Just don't take home the one with the most problems. This is a person. You can love anything, anyone, anything that you put your time and investment into, you will love, right? Because we can love. We're humans. We can love anything. We can love the rat that's in the hole in the wall that we probably should have exterminated. We can love, the freaking, I don't know, whatever. We can love anything. And especially women. Women can love anything. Like, just see a woman with like an injured animal, and it doesn't matter if it'll kill her. Like, she will love that thing. Just go run up to it. Yes. See, you need to go and realize that it doesn't matter who you have, you can love them. But before we get the love involved, we need to stop with the love and stop with the horniness, right? and first do this list: values, morals, trauma, how to connect. Are they ready for a relationship? Are you ready for a relationship? Financial stuff, health stuff, timing stuff, baggage stuff, communication stuff. Do all that first. And if someone meets all those boxes, then open yourself up to love. We're doing it backwards, right? In arranged marriages, they have like a list, basically similar to this, right? Similar to everything we've gone over. The family does this, the family, whatever. And this is how they act. This is, there's divorce in the family. There's no divorce in the family. They believe in this. They believe in helping. They believe the women should work. They believe the women should not work. They believe this. And then you go, okay, these values line up with my values. I will meet them now, right? What we're doing is we're just going the hottest person, the skankiest person, the person that's the most exciting, which is the silliest, craziest thing I've ever heard. And then we're putting all of our emotions into these people that are just crazy, or they look good. And that's it. That's all they have to offer. That's all I'm saying. You can love anyone, anything. You can love the most hideous woman if she's a good woman and she meets all your check marks. You can learn to love her, just like she can learn to love you, right? Just get the important stuff, the longevity stuff, because the looks and the banging and stuff like that, that's not longevity stuff. Do the other stuff. And then learn to love them, just like you would a shelter animal. Because in the grand scheme of things, we're all sheltered animals. Shelter animals. We're all a little bit messed up, a little bit broken, and we don't know why we're there. But that's all I'm going to say for today. And yep. Good luck and enjoy the shelters. I hope you find what you're looking for, and I hope you lead with your brains and not with your nether regions. Goodbye, guys.